CageJunkies. This is J.I.O. Hernandez here, and this is our first ever video roundtable. To my left are our participants, Steve Solar, Mario Morales, and UFC veteran Charles the Chainsaw McCarthy.
Let's get down to specific moments in a fight. So for you guys, what was your favorite KO of the year, or submission, either or? What was the one knockout or one submission that you just say, wow, that is the best of this particular year, or even your favorite?
I'll go first. I'm going to start off with Machida knocking out Randy Couture with the front kick, with the Karate Kid style crane kick. Was probably the coolest thing I've ever seen in an MMA fight. It stinks that it happened to Randy. You know, I'm very big fan of Randy's. I spent some time with him in training, and he's a wonderful human being. And it stinks that he was on the recipient end of that, but man, what a kick. That was unbelievable. The timing on it was perfect. To do it to a guy like Randy Couture, who's a multiple-time champion at multiple weight classes, it's not like he did it to a scrub, you know. It was really amazing. So for knockout of the year, man, I mean, I think that's knockout of the century. Submission of the year, it's got to go to Frank Mir. Man, that he came back from in the fire, falls down, grabs a Kimura, and then just absolutely destroys Nogueira's arm with the most perfectly executed Kimura on a world champion black belt. Like, those to me are unparalleled as far as the holy crap factor. Like, man, did that really just happen?
Yeah, I agree with those 100%. Absolutely. You know, for me, as far as knockouts are concerned, you know, I'm a big fan of traditional martial arts. You know, that front kick for me was you know, just very entertaining for me. It was a real special moment for me when that occurred there. You know, and Anderson Silva executed the same front kick on
Vitor Belfort, yeah.
On Vitor Belfort, you know,
another world-class fighter.
Took out my man Vitor Belfort. You know, I had single tears coming out. It wasn't cool, but you got to respect, you know, the
karate kick.
The karate kick there. You know, that traditional front push kick right up into the mouth and brings him right down. So as much as we make fun of Steven Seagal, you know, he's all about those flying front kicks. So
isn't he Aikido? Don't they do a lot of throwing and wrist manipulation? I don't even think he's a front kicker.
No, but according to him, he pretty much invented it.
Martial arts in general, I think.
Martial arts.
Listen, I grew up watching Steven Seagal beating people up. As far as I'm concerned, that guy invented martial arts. I'm fine with that.
I agree.
I'm okay with that.
Hard to kill.
Him and John Claude. And the submission, of course, Frank Mir. I mean, you know, he was done.
He wanted that arm real bad.
He locked that in, and Big Nog rolled, and as soon as he rolled, he tightened it up, put his leg over, snapped that arm nice and pretty. Worked out well for Frank Mir, even though it was gross.
Not so much for Big Nog.
Wasn't pretty for him.
The referee said that the sound of the arm snapping was so loud, like that he knew right away what had happened.
Herb Dean tweeted right away. He said it was really, really loud.
Unbelievable. That's got to be a really disgusting thing to feel happen to your own arm.
Unbelievable.
And Herb Dean was in the other fight that
he caught the Tim Sylvia arm break with Frank Mir. He's Frank Mir's like referee, I think.
Lucky charm.
Well, if you're going to put Frank Mir in a fight, you better have Herb Dean to listen for the cracks.
So he can break some arms.
What about you, Steve? What's your favorites?
For me, the knockout of the year, you want to talk about a holy shit moment, was Chet Congo's knockout of Pat Barry. Because Pat Barry was winning that fight, was close to finishing that fight several times. As a matter of fact, I personally think if they would have stopped that fight, not many people would have complained.
Yeah, that's true.
They could have stopped it a couple times, and I don't think anybody would have called it an early stoppage. They didn't stop the fight. They stood back up. Pat Barry got cracked. Chet Congo, you know, knocked him out like that. No one saw it coming. You know, he overcame so much adversity. He was getting his ass beat, and that, for me, that was the best knockout of the year. Just because of the surprise element and what Chet Congo kind of like endured to get to that point.
Yeah, he definitely looked like he was out at least once or twice.
At least, yeah. And for me, I got to agree with these guys. Frank Mir's Kimura on Big Nog was incredible. I mean, the technique, the fact that he was getting pounded for most of the fight and was probably close to being finished, and you know, he destroyed his arm. And you know, no one likes to see that. That's not why it's my favorite submission, but it's just the way where it came from. It came out of nowhere, and the technique was so good on that.
I feel like he could have tapped a lot sooner, man. I keep watching the video over and over again, and it keeps in my head. I kind of feel like Big Nog just had every opportunity to tap before that huge break.
Well, you know, as a jiu-jitsu guy, I can tell you that you don't expect your bone to snap, you know, so he obviously wasn't feeling the pressure on his shoulder as bad as he could have been to tap, because that's not what gave. It was the bone that broke, and how do you really know your bone's about to snap like that? You know, so it's never happened to him before, you know. It's not like it was something that has happened to him in the past that he could have been aware of. And, you know, I can tell you Kimura is one of those moves that if it's not working right away, you can get that guy to tire himself out going for it. They don't always work. And so, you know, Nogueira's probably been put in Kimura's and gotten out of them thousands of times in the past, and he didn't think this was going to be any different.
Is that what you were thinking? Maybe he was trying to wait him out, tire him out?
As a jiu-jitsu guy, you're always thinking about that. When a guy catches you in a submission, the higher level guys, right away they think, okay, I'm just going to stay calm and relax, and I'm going to let this guy wear himself out on this submission. You know, he knows how to defend it. He knows that fraction of an inch to adjust to make sure his ligament doesn't tear or his muscle doesn't tear. But a snap bone like that, you just really can't account for that.
You know, and Big Nog is one of those guys that have been known his entire career for being able to take so much damage. I mean, the guy is just, you know, has a ton of heart. He can take a lot of damage. He's tough. I think even if he thought his arm was going to break, I don't know if he would have tapped. I mean, that's just his mentality. If you look at that fight he had against Bob Sapp, I mean, God.
Yeah, you're probably right. And Fedor too, you know, and he's. I don't know if you guys know this about Nog, but when he was real young, he got hit by a truck. And that's why he has that big scar in the back. He wasn't even supposed to survive, let alone become a world champion. You know, so that guy's got no intention of ever quitting in a fight. He's probably never going to quit in a fight. That's why we're lucky to have referees to save these guys' lives.
Absolutely.
Because these guys put on fights for you guys, and they put it all on the line. They go in there and they fight to the death. And thankfully, there's a third guy in there to make sure nobody dies. Because in reality, you know, these guys are doing real techniques that kill people, like these chokes and stuff. Nobody stops this guy from going unconscious. Like, that's it. That's the end of it. So, you know, a guy like Big Nog takes it that next step further, and he says, you're just not going to be able to beat me. And if someone beats me, it'll be the referee because I'm not giving up.